Hey everyone, welcome to 2022. Yay! This is the first Monday after, now it says I'm live. So if the welcome didn't show up on this video, welcome. It's 2022 and it is the first Monday after the new year, which means for most people it is the first Monday that they start a diet. These are the 5 biggest mistakes the dieters make that stall and sabotage their weight loss. Doesn't matter if it's the first of the year or any other time of the year, these keep people fat, and by acknowledging them and doing something about them, and they're all easy to shift, you'll be able to stay on track and release the 2 pounds or the 200 pounds that you want to release. So, let's get started. As I said, this is the first Monday of the new year. Usually that means anyone who has decided to lose weight makes a resolution to do so. Nix the resolution. Resolutions are a joke. They're actually even giggled upon if you say, well, my resolution is. There is no backing to it. In other words, there's no commitment to it. So nix it. I haven't done a resolution in probably 25 years. I've been successful every one of them because I don't do them anymore because I know they don't carry any weight. They usually last, I think statistics say about 3 days. I've seen them last for 3 hours. Right? Because there is no commitment to it. It is kind of made a joke of, and there's all kinds of programs today that are talking about being able to be successful at your resolution. I have never, and I've been doing this for 20 some years, never ever, family, friends, clients, come across anyone who has followed through with their resolution, so nix that. Instead, set an intention. And the intention is, and this is the number 1, is set an intention instead of a resolution. The intention is not a goal weight. There's a space for that, and it is important to know what your goal weight numbers are, but the intention is about the overall method and how you're going to feel. It's not even the method, it's how you're going to feel when you release the weight. So the intention is, I will feel, and put in your adjective, happy, proud, accomplished, successful. That feeling of thin, what does that mean to you? Energized, active, and I'm sure there's a whole lot more adjectives that you can come up with. So come up with several. Thinner. I will blank, fill in the blank. Thinner. Not when I'm thinner, thinner. Alright, so it's in the now. So set your intention that way. It's about what do you want to feel thinner. And I'm sure you have many ideas about what that would be like. Some of you could probably write a page. Some of you can just, all you need is a sentence. Set your intention. And you're probably asking me, why is that not a goal weight? And here's what happens with the subconscious mind. You've set many goal weight. So whether it's 125, 100, 199, you've set goal weights in the past. And it has always failed. Maybe you're able to stick with it for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, maybe even a couple of years, and then the weight started filtering back on. So the goal weight in your subconscious mind is the end result will be failure. And so if you're going to set a goal weight, make sure that it's a pound over or under what you normally set, because your subconscious mind has no resonance or information about what that means in your conscious mind, so they can't sabotage you from the very start. It is important to know what you want to, what weight you want to be, Most of our society has been trained that it's a number on the scale that determines our health and whether we're slim or not. All the things can be used, other things as clothing. So when we all have a pair of fat jeans in our closet, you all know that, and you have one, at least one, and when the fat jeans get too tight, then you know it's time to do something about it. So we always have 3 pairs or 3 sizes in our closet: the one we're wearing, the one that we have just in case we put on a few pounds, and the one that we want to get into. We all have that as well. So you can have other measurements rather than a weight on a scale, which leads me to the biggest mistake, number 2, criticizing and judging yourself based on the weight on the scale. If you can step on the scale every day and see that number as more data, additional data in your weight release journey, other than a description of you. So in other words, if it's gone up a few ounces even, there's a beragement of what's wrong with me, how come I can't do this, oh there I go again. Maybe you had an extra slice of bread, or maybe you had a potato and you're low carb. Maybe you had something off program and you see the scale creep up that evening, and you berate yourself with criticism and judgment. Then it's time to get rid of the scale. Take your beginning weight, get your beginning weight. Again, no judgment or criticism. Judgment and criticism causes more people to crash off of their diet than it ever has motivated anybody, because it doesn't. It only makes you feel badly about yourself. So what happens when you feel badly about yourself? You go eat more junk. Now, depending on your program you're on, definition of junk food is different. So my clients that are on low carb, a potato is considered junk food. My clients that are vegetarian, potatoes are amazing for them. So junk food has different definitions as well. But stop criticizing yourself, judging yourself around your weight, around anything else in your life. If you are finding yourself in that loop of negative self-talk, that's the first thing that needs to change. It was the first thing that I changed some 20-some years ago when I decided to stop dieting. The first thing I did was I went on a mental diet. I stopped dieting, but I went on a mental diet. What that meant was every time I heard myself say something badly about myself, I said no. And I can tell you the first couple of days, it was like every few seconds. And it felt like it would be forever like that, but it wasn't. By the end of the week, there was longer and longer periods between the criticism and having to say no to the next one. So it will change. Just give yourself some time and patience. Number 3 is you give up. And a lot of times you give up on yourself before you even get started. I was in a group earlier today and we're talking about sales goals. And if you're in business, you have sales goals. And she gave us a number and said, and it will be really hard. You better believe it's going to be really hard for her. Because she'd already, again, set the intention. Same thing as around weight. So give up on the thought patterns that are telling you you can't do it this time. You've always failed in the past. What makes you think you can do it this time? Give those up. Also, and this is going to be tough for a lot of people to hear because we've just had a couple weeks of just eating whatever we want, free for all, and drinking whatever we wanted. And there's a part of us that believes, because we have been programmed to believe, that we need to go on a restricted diet. So you can't eat anything but lettuce for a day, or total low carb, no more than 10 carbs a day. Those programs work, yes, but you won't stay on them long. So give up the notion that you have to go on a very restricted diet. The truth of the matter is if you could do anything that would reduce the calorie amount, you will start releasing weight. And if you want to go a step further, if you would eat the amount of calories that your goal weight is, so in other words, you take your goal weight and you times that by 13, and that gives you the number of daily calories that you would need to get to that goal weight and sustain it. And I have to tell you that when I was first doing this, my number was around 1250, I think, a day, and that was depressing to me. That didn't sound like enough. So ease your way down into that number, into that equation. But if you did nothing more than that, you will release weight, which means you just need to count your calories. Old school, I know, I get it. If you want to, you could subtract the calories you burn in exercise. That's another one of the biggest mistakes, is you create really huge exercise goals for yourself. I'm going to start on Monday, January 3rd, or August, January 3rd, whatever that Monday is, exercising an hour a day, 6 days a week. If you have not been exercising, that is a totally out of bounds goal, because you haven't been doing that. So set up exercises and goals in small, obtainable. If 30 minutes a day works for you, great. If 15 minutes is better, 15 minutes, start with 15 minutes 3 times a week or 2 times a week. Take a walk. I just walked my dog down our driveway, which is about 750 feet, plus down the road a little bit and back during lunch. It took 10 minutes, maybe. But incorporate more of that into your lifestyle. So you're getting a lot more of 5 biggest mistakes, but you're getting a lot of tips with these on how to change that. So review your emotions around food, around around exercise. What are you saying to yourself, and how does that make you feel? I know it sounds so psychologist, right? Yuck. But what it really is important to know is to backtrack. Where did this come from? What might be causing this emotion that is triggering you to eat off program? We had a lot of time together with our families. My family, it's an amazing and wonderful. I'm very grateful for my family. However, some people are going into situations around family that are stressful, and they're very grateful that it's done. So that tension alone could be a trigger to overeat, to stress eat. So watch that as well. Review your emotions and pay attention to what you're craving, because the food that you're craving will give you clues to the emotions. Didn't know that, did you? That you are having. I was pretty basically taught to shut off all my emotions, including extreme happiness. And so it took me a long time to even figure out I was having an emotion and then what it was. So, but I was certainly craving all different kinds of food. I did not know that certain types of foods give us a clue in the emotions we may be having, like for quite a long time. And once I discovered that, then I could start identifying the emotions that I was having, and I could start releasing the emotions. Some of this is programmed. So in other words, it has been there since you were a child. Usually from someone saying something to you or an observation that you had that you made a decision about. So I had a client who wanted to release some pounds because she was eating a loaf of homemade bread on the way home from church every Sunday, and her weight started creeping up, of course. You eat a whole loaf of bread in one day. The friend that was making the bread for her heard that she was eating the loaf of bread on the way home, so made her 2 loaves so her husband could have some when she got home, which just made it worse. She tried everything as far as putting it as far away on the front seat as possible, putting it in the back seat, putting it in the trunk, and she would still stop, pull it out, and then eat it before she got home. What was happening is she was having a very stressful time in her life. Her husband was terminally ill, and she had to make some decisions about her career, and she loved her career, and she was good at her career. And becoming the primary caretaker was not something that she was joyful about. She was responsible about, but she wasn't joyful about it. I mean, meant giving up her career to take care of him. And because she couldn't deal with the guilt she was feeling for having that emotion, that she really didn't want to stay home 24/7 and deal with her husband. She loved him dearly. They'd been together for, 40, 45 years. But she just didn't want the burden. So, when this woman overheard her say she loved home-baked bread and was bringing it to her every week, it was a way to release the stress she was feeling and delay the decision that she had to make. So that emotional trigger came from when she was a child. She came home from school and her mother baked bread every day and was just taking it out of the oven when she got home from school. And she would sit at the kitchen table with a warm slice of bread with melted butter on it and felt so loved, especially when her mother or her parents both would not and could not show her physical attention, like giving her hugs or kisses, or even telling her how much they appreciated her. So that moment when her mom gave her that slice of bread was a very tender moment, and it was so warm and comforting for her. That the bread the friend was making all of these some years later, some almost 50 years later, she was trying to recapture that comfort and love that wasn't existing in her life at that moment. Once we connected the two, released them, then she was able to stop eating the bread, even as if it was sitting next to her on the seat on the way home. So we have to look at our emotions and review them and see where they came from, without criticism or judgment. And then the last thing is our belief systems. If you started out just like that story I told earlier, where you said, this isn't going to work for me, this is going to be hard, and if you are making your affirmation in a negative space, I won't eat chocolate cake anymore, the subconscious mind only hears eat chocolate cake. Can't understand no or won't. So instead of saying that, say I feel so much better choosing healthy snacks. Can you feel the difference? So change your belief system. If you're saying this is too hard, it's going to be too hard, that needs to be switched and changed to, even if you don't believe it, this is what's so fun about it. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. So even if you don't believe it, to something positive. I really, truthfully enjoy vegetables. Maybe you're not a vegetable eater. I get to have a vegetable with dinner, a low-carb vegetable. I get to eat a salad at lunch, if you enjoy salads. If you're struggling with any of these, I'm going to put my calendar link in the comments below, and you can grab a 30-minute, no obligation chat with me about how you can move through these 5 biggest mistakes and switch them. So, what are you waiting for? I've had a lot of people tell me I'm not going to go on any program until after the holidays. It's after the holidays. And if you're experiencing any of these, then you need support. So let's talk about what that would look like for you. So I look forward to chatting with you, and I will be back on Wednesday and Friday. This is the last week of these videos of this week, so Wednesday and Friday of this week. So catch your appointment now so that we can get you started. Reasonable program that you'll find quite satisfying I know people say that all the time, and then you look at their diet and it's all vegetables and fruit, and that's fine for some people, but it wasn't fine for me. I wanted to know that my program had cake in it and cookies and candy, and mine does. So I look forward to chatting with you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye now.